We've been a leader in banking for more than 100 years. You'll find us here, at home, on your phone, and everywhere you go. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Sponsored by Renaissance Bank.
Good morning and welcome to Daily Journal Newsbreak for Thursday, May 10th. I'm your host, Chris Kiefer, and we're going to take a look at the top news and sports stories from Northeast Mississippi. But first, let's start with your weather forecast. Today we're looking at partly cloudy skies with a high of 89 and a low of 63. Looking ahead at your 3-day outlook, sunny skies. Friday, a high of 90 and a low of 63. Saturday, high of 91 and a low of 65. And on Sunday, high of 92 and a low of 67. Let's take a look now at today's top headlines. Volunteers gathered on Wednesday morning at the Family Resource Center of North Mississippi Warehouse in Tupelo. They assembled bed frames recently donated by a Madison church for Lee County residents. Stanley Huddleston, the faith-based initiative director at the Family Resource Center, said they have been getting more and more requests for beds because people's houses get burned down or they just need a new bed for their kids. Huddleston was connected with Tupelo native Bill Flynn, who is part of a bed building ministry at his church in Madison. Huddleston said the organization has given out 7 beds to date. Volunteers delivered 3 beds in Baldwin on Wednesday. The Family Resource Center receives requests for beds from Life Corps Child Protective Services and the Mississippi Department of Child Protective Services. This year's Northeast Mississippi Law Enforcement Memorial Service will focus on those left behind when officers were killed. Debbie Brangenberg will be the guest speaker at the service. It will be held on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. at the Elvis Presley Birthplace Event Center in Tupelo. Brangenberg's son, Tupelo officer Gail Stauffer, was killed responding to a bank robbery in December 2013. She will speak in part about the group Concerns of Police Survivors, or COPS. The event will last about 30 minutes. It will include the playing of taps, a 21-gun salute, and the reading of the names of the area's officers who have been killed in the line of duty. The local memorial service was started 19 years ago by John Harmon after his son, Casey Harmon, was shot and killed while working as a jailer at the Lee County Juvenile Detention Center in March of 1998. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy established May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day. The week around that day is National Police Week. Those who enjoy food and flowers will have the opportunity to participate in 2 outdoor events on Saturday. At 6 a.m., the Tupelo Farmers Depot will open its doors for the season. The market is located on Spring Street near the railroad tracks. It will be open on Saturdays and Thursdays from 6 a.m. to noon and on Tuesdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Early offerings from farmers usually include broccoli, new potatoes, spring peas, carrots, cabbage, greens, lettuce, onions, spinach, kale, and beets. Starting in June, the market will feature live music on the first Saturday of every month. There also will be some children's programs and chef demonstrations when summer arrives. Meanwhile, the Lee County Master Gardeners will host a celebration of gardens on Saturday at the community garden just south of the Farmers Depot. The free event will feature educational programs on starting seeds and growing plants from stem cuttings, building a fairy garden, pollinator plants, and more. And in sports, Hamilton and Myrtle both own multiple state championships in slow pitch softball. However, neither school has ever captured a fast pitch title. That will change for one of them this week as the Lady Lions and Lady Hawks meet in the MHSAA Class 1A finals at Mississippi State. Game 1 is set for 1:30 p.m. today with Game 2 on Friday. If a third game is needed, it will be played on Saturday. Hamilton owns 9 state titles in slow pitch softball, while Myrtle has 4. Hamilton has been to the fast pitch finals a few times before, including twice under 7th-year coach Brian Logue. The Lady Lions lost in last year's finals to Bogachita. Anna Claire Stahl leads Hamilton with a .413 batting average. Myrtle is making its first trip to the finals. 10th-year head coach Marty Cook said he saw fairly early in the season that this team had potential to make a run. Meanwhile, Houston will also play for a state title in Starkville this week. The Lady Hilltoppers face Raleigh in Class 3A starting today at 4 p.m. And that does it for Newsbreak on this Thursday. Don't forget that this show is just one of the many online offerings courtesy of the Daily Journal that gets you news off the page and on the go. Check out the Prep Rally podcast with Brad Locke and Dalton Middleton talking about the latest in Northeast Mississippi high school sports. On Wednesday's episode, they previewed the softball championships and talked about the baseball playoffs. Check it out in Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or at preprally.djournal.com. And Ole Miss and Mississippi State fans listen to the Double Coverage podcast with beat reporters Parrish Alford and Logan Lowry. Look for a new episode this afternoon in Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or at doublecoverage.djournal.com. Each story discussed today on Newsbreak can be found in your daily journal or online at djournal.com, where you can also find a new episode of Newsbreak each weekday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Kiefer. Have a great Thursday.